Hello everyone, this is Arafellan bringing you another Atari game. Last time I played E.T. Phone Home for the 8-bit systems, which was a very different game from E.T. for the Atari 2600 and considerably more playable. I promised another game that involved aliens, and here we have Alien Garden by Epix. And this is an interesting game in a number of ways, one of them being that I'm not really sure how to classify it. I've never played anything quite like it before or since. I mean, it's not a platformer, it's not an adventure kind of game, it's not really a puzzle game, it's not like a war strategy kind of thing. And there is action of a sort. But in any case, the concept is you are playing as this alien creature, some kind of bird or bug or something that is in an alien garden. Your creature has a mouth, 2 wings, and a stinger. You move by using the joystick. You change direction by holding the button while moving. And what you have in this garden are these strange alien flowers. There are a number of them all up and down the area. I think, how wide is it? Oops. Yeah, so that's how wide the garden is. It scrolls up and down, going back and forth continuously. You have no control over the scrolling. But as I accidentally demonstrated by running into one earlier with my mouth, some flowers you can eat. If it's a flower you can eat, you just bump your mouth into it, pieces of it disappear, you get points. There are 4 really kinds of reactions flowers can have to different things. So you have your mouth, you have your wings, and you have your stinger. Each of them will have different, potentially, reactions. So if you bump things with your stinger, one of 3 things will happen. If you bump them with your wings, which you have to be facing sideways for because they retract when you're facing up and down, one of 3 things will happen. And when you hit them with your mouth, one of 3 things will happen. With your mouth, one of the 3 things that can happen is it gets eaten. That happening is a good thing, that's how you get your points. The other things that can happen. When you bump a flower with any of your body parts, the flower may explode. This is a bad thing to happen. Exploding destroys the part that caused the reaction. If you lose your wings or stinger, you have no wings and stinger unless you find a way to get them to grow back. If you lose both your wings and your stinger, then you're dead and it's game over. If your mouth causes an explosion, you lose your head, that's also game over. So generally speaking, you want to try experimenting with your wings and stinger first, because that's safer. I just kind of accidentally hit something with my mouth and it worked out well enough, which is good. You'll also notice your store is along the sides here, and as it gets bigger, the sides get wider, you have less room along the edge of the map to work with. That is a deliberate and fairly interesting design decision. Anyway, other things can happen when you bump things. Sometimes they will mutate into a different kind of flower. There are... I'm not sure if they call it generations or whatever, but in any case, there are multiple different types of flowers. When you start out, everything is Gen 1. If you get one to mutate, that becomes Gen 2 flower. Any Gen 1 flower you mutate will become a Gen 2. All Gen 2 flowers have the same properties as all other Gen 2 flowers. And they progress through a series of, I think it's 20 plus generations, all of which have potentially different randomly generated properties. When you get a new type of flower, new generation for the first time, that will let you regrow your wings or stinger if you're missing them. So yeah, your mouth can explode or mutate or eat things. Your wings and stinger can mutate or explode them. They can also make them grow. Your mouth cannot make things grow. Your wings and stingers can. If a thing grows, it gets bigger. Oop, that was a mutate. So we have a new type of flower in the garden now. Generation 2 flower. We don't know what its properties are. One additional effect of causing new types of flowers is that when you eat, each piece you get gets you 1 point times the number of different generations that currently exist in the garden. So eating flowers is now worth twice as much as it was before, because I now have 2 types of flowers. So I now know what mouth and stinger do to Gen 1. Let's try wings. Wings grow it. So growing the flower means we get more stuff to eat, which is good. The problem is that if you grow something too much, it will explode. And then you lose the body part that caused that. I'll just do a little more eating, get some more points, until we get back up to that Gen 2 flower and start experimenting with that. There's a Gen 1 again. Yeah, the different generations will have different patterns of things on their pixels. Or not pixels, but whatever you call these units. Okay, it was Stinger to mutate those. Oops. Okay, Wing grows Gen 3. Stinger mutates Gen 1. I should probably be taking notes if I wanted to well. Oh yeah, these are now worth 3 points per morsel. So, you can kind of dive head first through them. But that can be risky, especially if you're being careless about your facing. When you're running through things, you can accidentally hit them with your wings if you're sideways, or a stinger on the way through, which can be a bad thing depending on what you're trying to do. See that? Oh, then we have another mutation. Let's try stinger on a Gen 2. Oh, it scrolled out a frame too quickly. Yeah, it can be a kind of weird about the collision detection. Oh, that mutated too. And that's an explosion, so stinger lost. Let's try winging that. Okay, that caused a mutation. It's a new type of flower we haven't seen before, so the stinger grew back. And now eating things is worth kind of a large amount of points. Yeah, this basically goes on until you get yourself killed. Which again happens if you lose both your wings and your stinger, or if you lose your head. Another feature of the game is that after you lose, you can, by, I think, pressing the joystick button, restart on the same seed, with the same properties for the flowers. So if you were keeping notes, you can try again, do better potentially. Well, let's try eating this. Probably a bad idea, but... Yep, it exploded, so that's game over. And when you game over, you go into this little... It's almost like a screensaver. Yeah, this game has some very unique gameplay, some neat little noises. Not much color, but it doesn't really need it. It's kind of speaks for itself as far as just playability and whatever. It's an interesting concept. I would kind of like to see something in the same general vein. I could see this if there were as like a mini game and something, possibly with automatic note taking, where when you do something for the first time, the game reimmerses that for you and lets you refer to that. But maybe not, depending on how your mini gaming goes. So, like I said, if you press the button, I believe, that lets you replay on the same settings. Yeah. It takes a bit to reload and regenerate everything. Not sure why, because it's already done the random generation, but maybe it's just initializing stuff. You can see the flowers growing in the background there. That's kind of neat. And again, same settings, so these are edible. I think it was the stinger to mutate. So we now have 2 types of flowers. Hit that with that to make 3 types. Hit that with the stinger. Okay, now there's 3 types because there were only 2 because I had Gen 1 flowers and a Gen 3 flower. That's only 2 types, so you only get 2 points. It's not what the highest generation is that determines your points, it's how many different types you have. So ideally what we want to do is get all your flowers to a different generation and have a few that you can eat to maximize your points. But in any case, it's an interesting game. And this has been Arafellan playing Alien Gardens. Come back next time for another game by an independent developer, actually, that features random generation. I'll see you next time.